Okay, good morning. Um, I'm going to be testing the open voltage on the source coil um, and its center tap. So the source coil is what is going to deliver the current and voltage to my secondary coil here from the CDI pack, right? So, of course, the pack is going to control when and to some degree probably how much, but it's pretty well, I think it's open, right? So, right. Anyways, the lines that I'm going to check, I'll go to the schematic here and take a look, is there's the source coil right there, and it's green, and brown is the full source coil voltage. And also the center tap, and the center tap controls or gives voltage and a small amount of current to the components within the CDI pack to tell it when to fire. So this one here is for the full length is for the source, or for, I should say, for the secondary coil, and this red line is for the components. So it is disconnected, and so that'll be hooked right onto the wire harness and disconnected from the pack because I want to know that it's delivering the voltage. I have the multiplier on the scope probe set to times 10, and the scope is set to 5 volt. All right, so we're seeing some signal going on there for sure. And it looks like it's 55 or 50 volts AC, right around that zone. One more time for prosperity, dude. Yeah, 52, 55, depends how hard I kick. Okay, all right. So, pulling off the one-hand trick here to try to do this while holding the phone. Now I'm checking the center tap, and the center tap's going to be a lot less voltage, so I'm going to have to knock down this to times 1. Still leaving on the same scale on the scope. So now it should be registering more like somewhere in the 5 volt. And I got to kick it over really slow. Oh, shite. Oh, okay. Silly me. It's like a big spike like that. And the reason why is because I'm not on the brown line. It's got to be red to brown. Hang on while I hook that all up. Red and brown. So I did green and brown, which is the main source voltage. And now I'm doing red and brown. Okay. Same thing going down there. We're looking at about 5 volts. Yeah. Around 5 volts. So what I want to check now is, okay, great. You know, it's got voltage there, but this is unloaded. What happens when I hook it up? Because the whole purpose behind doing this is there is no spark, right? So I've got to find out what's going on there, because you know a lot of things look okay. So pulse coil was happening. Okay, going back to brown green. Should have the multiplier back on. Multiplier. All right, so now it's hooked up, right, to the CDI pack. Everything's all hooked. Plugs are grounded, the whole 9 yards, right? It's all hot. All right. What do we get? Okay, go really slow first. Okay, yeah. Not what I was expecting to see. I got not very much there. Double check, because it's like there's next to nothing there. And this is just loaded. So, right. I don't know if I should say I didn't expect that, because I'm seeing like 10 volts there. It's there. So when this thing's hooked up, it's like there's not enough there to fire that secondary coil. Not enough. Definitely not. 10 volts is not going to cut it. So systems are working, but we don't have current from the source coil. So really, the next point at this point is like I will check the resistance, but I expect that it's going to be probably there, right? But I might have a piss poor connection here somehow. So I'll need to check that out, find out what is going on with the source coil. Right. One last thing I didn't do was check the voltage on the tap off of that, right? Under load. And I am down on 1K scale. Okay, so under load, the center tap, strangely enough, is giving me what I expect to see. Odd. Center tap is actually operating, but full length of the tap, or the full length of the coil, is not. So I'm gonna have to check that out. Could mean that maybe the green line has got a piss poor connection on it. I'm gonna have to chase it back, make sure wire isn't pinched, that green wire isn't pinched, or potentially shorted to ground, or which is unlikely. Could actually just be the coil itself. All right, results to follow.